Bruges debuted at number 12 on the most purchased list, stayed on another month, fell off, then jumped back on, fell off again, jumped back on again, and repeated that pattern a couple more times. This is the fault of the publisher, Z-Man Games. They've always had a tough time keeping games in stock because of their baffling policy of small print runs and small and frequent reprints. This pattern shortly after the game's release demonstrates the surges in the game being added to collections when it was in stock and available for short periods of time. Today, it's super tough to get, and the expansion even more so. Here's a fun stat. It was the 22nd most popular Secret Santa board game gift in 2013. Today, the game is currently on nearly 3,000 wish lists on BGG, but is only being offered for trade by 146 people. That's the kind of ratio that indicates a very popular and desirable game. Despite the difficulty in acquiring the game, Bruges has managed to maintain a remarkable consistency in the number of unique players that log plays of it from month to month. It debuted at number 15 on the September 2013 most played list with 570 unique players and stayed on the list for the next 9 months. 5 years later, it's still getting almost 200 unique players per month. One can't help but wonder how much higher that total might be if the game were only more readily available. Bruges has also enjoyed significant critical success. A lot of people forget that this was a Kennerspiel-nominated game. To give you an idea of the company it enjoyed that year, Terra Mystica and Zulkin were the 2 Kennerspiel recommended games that year, and they weren't even formally nominated. Both Bruges and the highly respected Kramer and Kiesling game, The Palaces of Carrera, were ultimately beat out by Legends of Andor, a decision that has gone down in many people's minds as one of the most egregious Kennerspiel decisions in the history of the award. Currently, Bruges is ranked number 200 exactly on BGG, which puts it in very elite company. Personally, I love it too. Feld is my favorite designer, and Bruges is my favorite Feld game. It's one of my perfect 10 rated games, and if I were forced to pick a single all-time favorite, it would be Bruges. I'm happy to see that it's held up over time. Now, if it could just be reprinted more often, I think it's not too late for its legacy to increase even more in the hands of more people. Maybe we'll get a 10th anniversary edition in another 5 years. Well, that will do it for episode 16. Thanks for listening. Feel free to join the Out of the Dust Podcast Guild at BoardGameGeek.com. Follow the podcast on Twitter at OutOfTheDustBGG. Leave a comment at the Guild. PM me on BGG under user handle Radagast14. Or email me at radagast14@CenturyLink.net. And join the Out of the Dust conversation yourself at our monthly Geeklist at BGG. Alright, play me out, Ananda!